My dog was chewing on my remote. My bad. Um, I don't even remember what I was saying. So, 9, 10, 11, I started listening to Eminem, cursing like a sailor. Shaved my head when I was like 12, had a hot pink mohawk, pierced my lip, started acting out, smoking weed. The first time I smoked weed, I didn't really feel anything, but the time after that I smoked weed, I had a total panic attack. With my friends and but I didn't give a fuck. I was just reckless. I hated everything. Like really, I felt really, really betrayed by everything that was going on with my dad and my mom. I was just angry. I was an angry kid, and on top of that, you know, there was the fact that I knew that I was different. I knew I was different, and I was still trying to figure that out. I went through my tomboy phase, and I don't know. I don't know. I was dressing with button-down shirts, and I would wear my dad's shirts, and he would, say things to me like I was the son that he never wanted, and he would make remarks to me like that, and I don't know, I feel like he thought that they were funny, but they weren't. You know what I mean? They cut deep to me, and eventually at 12, when I came out, he was not happy at all. You know what I mean? He made a comment about my sister, oh, at least I have another daughter that can, you know have have my grandchildren, or some bullshit like that. And then my sister ended up coming out as gay, and getting a long-term girlfriend. So that's karma for you right there. I always thought that was so funny. Um, but I mean, her and I are actually both pretty fluid now sexually, but at the time, it's just funny. But yeah, so I was drinking, I was experimenting, and eventually, my dad is just, I don't know, I'm not gonna make a video bashing my father, but the point is that my father is an addict. I don't care what he says. I don't care. My father's an addict. My father gave me my first Percocet. I don't care. That's a fact. I started asking for a few. He gave me a few more. A fact. I don't care what anyone says. It's a fact. I was 15 when that happened. I had already experimented a couple times with pills, but that, I don't know, it clicked with me when I got them from him. So around that time, I started talking to my ex-partner. I'm not going to start naming names. If you know who I'm talking about, great. If you don't, that's fine too. I'm not going to, these videos are not bashing videos either. If you do, if you don't, okay. But I'm going to talk about it because it's my life. So I started talking to her. We were best friends for 2 years before we were ever together. We were in high school together. We were inseparable. I loved the shit out of that girl. Just even as a person, I just loved her. You could not keep me away from her house, her family, her anything at that time. But unfortunately, her mother is an addict. That's a fact. So her mom being an addict, and my father being an addict, and her being an addict, and me being an addict, made things very difficult, as I'm sure you can imagine. My dad, I was finding my father's Coke baggies in his shirts because I was wearing them. And sometimes I would take some, but unfortunately I didn't really even need to, because my father started giving me his connects to, his pill connects for Opana, and I would go down and buy them for very, very cheap, and I would do lots of them because I had connections to money that I'm not gonna speak about, but my ex ex and I had connections to money, and you know, we never, I mean, obviously her and I have been up and down with money, and we've struggled very badly with money, but you know, there have been certain little periods of time that we had a lot of money, and those periods of time that we had a lot of money are what threw us into our addiction the worst. You know, I yeah, so it was around 15, 16. You know, I was in 10th grade. I sold one of my first guitars for marijuana. And looking back now, you know, I think that's when I should have known that something was, you know, it was a problem. You know, I should have never been selling my passionate, you know, something I was passionate about just for weed. You know, I started skipping school to stay home. You know, we were selling weed, smoking weed, and I don't just mean smoking weed occasionally. I mean dropping almost $400 a day every 3 days on weed. You know, we were probably going 20 blunts a day or more. So, you know, her and I became attached, and that's how our relationship started. You know, I was very wishy-washy in the beginning. I used to be a player. I had my first girlfriend at 12. We were together 2 years. That was my first experience having a toxic relationship. Um, you know, I had fooled around prior to having that girlfriend a little bit, but that was that was it for me. So after my relationship with her, didn't ever really have a time that I was single. I was bouncing around from girl to girl to girl to girl to girl. It caused a lot of trouble for me. I was young, I was dumb, I was immature, and I regret a lot of it. I hurt a lot of people, but I was young and stupid, and if I hurt anybody that still hurts from back then I apologize. I've grown up, obviously, since then. So, um, yeah, so let's take a breath. So around 11th grade, I think there's a lag. I don't know. Ooh, why is there a lag? Okay, now it's gone. So around 11th grade is when I started dating my ex, and we started actually getting involved with one another heavily, and we were using together, and that just never stopped. So together we went on, and yeah, that's pretty much it. You know, like I haven't spoken to my dad now in about since I was 18 or 19, and I'm almost 29, so yeah, almost a decade now. I think it's for the best. You know, obviously, I don't think he wants anything to do with me either, but that's just the way things are. That's just the way things are. You know, maybe things will change in the future. Who knows? But yeah, so I'll make a video at another point talking about where my addiction kind of went from there. But, you know, I think growing up different and growing up angry and growing up confused and having to grow up fast and take care of your little sister and, you know, just not really liking yourself and growing up anxious and you know, just angry. Like anger is my, I feel like, my number one thing. It was and was most of my life. um the reason that I started using drugs, and it's not like I started using drugs and I wanted to become an addict. Who wants to become a drug addict? really. So yeah, that's my video for today. Um, talk soon. Ta-ta.